the three surviving lawyers from the famous Rivonia Treason Trial, in which Nelson Mandela faced the death penalty, were reunited to launch the 50th anniversary of the raid on Liliesleaf farm in Rivonia near Johannesburg. The Rivonia arrest sparked the trial that turned the tide against apartheid. Joffe reflected on Mandela's comments he made to say in the event he was condemned to death.
One by one they arrived at Rivonia near Johannesburg, carefully and deliberately. Just like the evidence these lawyers have been leading for more than half a century. Reunited in Rivonia, George Bezos, Joel Joffe and Dennis Cooney. Human rights lawyers with more than 150 years' experience, including leading the world-famous Rivonia trial in the early 1960s that saw Nelson Mandela face the death penalty.
He prepared a note of what he would say if he was sentenced to death, because what happens then is the judge puts on a red cap and says, "Have you anything to say before I pass the final sentence?" And Mandela had prepared, and I've got his handwritten note, which said, "I apologize for nothing. I was fighting for justice, and there's no sacrifice which I am not prepared to make in the cause of justice," or words to that effect. That was Mandela, faced with hanging, no fear.
They say they'd do it all again.
At the time, you know, one did it. One didn't question, should I or shouldn't I? You did it. And whether you were paid or not, you did it.
They are all in their 80s, and two of the three are still working. Bezos and Cooney fight human rights cases here in Johannesburg. Joffe, the former chairman of Oxfam, made Lord Joffe by ex-British Prime Minister Tony Blair, is retired in England. They were here to launch the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Rivonia raid that sparked the trial. In July, it'll be 50 years since a delivery van pulled up here, full of police and dogs. The police jumped out and rushed in here through this door to where the entire leadership of the underground was holding a meeting and arrested everybody. It included Walter Sisulu, Ahmed Kathrada and Governor Mbeki. The leader of the raid phoned up the police station and said, "We've hit the jackpot." The world and South Africa have changed dramatically since the heady days of radical activism against apartheid in the 1960s. These lawyers support the new democratic dispensation but have reservations.
In South Africa today, sadly, the majority of the population is living in poverty or in unemployment. And one believes that much more that government could do about that, and that all the problems with corruption, incompetence and inefficiency would disappear.
I know that there are people, including me, who are disappointed with some of the failures of the government, some of which are very serious and unnecessary. But I don't go along with the idea that nothing has changed. Much has changed in relation to education, in relation to the professions, in relation to health.
Who could argue with the seasoned kings of the argument?